Hello, welcome to Amateur Hour 34. Holy shit, it's been a minute, boys. How you been?
Great.
Been good.
I don't know where I'm at. What am I doing here?
Yeah, you've been missing from our bottom quarter there for a little while, Joey.
I know. The Fearsome Foursome's back in town.
That's what we're known as, for sure, across all the pods.
Full
Right.
barn
Fearsome Foursome.
today. Full house.
So, well, shit. Well, sorry. I'd say I. It's been a minute. I got all the live stuff screwed up. I'm ready to rock here now, but well, I'd say kind of like our description says, we'll go over our, probably we think briefly. We'll probably go over our bowl games quite a bit. Our bit of frustrations with the result. This is just me speaking for myself. I think the playoffs were awesome, and I think the committee. I'm changing my mind that the committee got it right, and then we'll kind of talk about a little bit of basketball for our teams here before conference play starts. But I guess we should start here and say, if you guys don't mind, before we kind of jump into our stuff, at least one of our teams is still going. The Jackrabbits of South Dakota State. They're playing here on Sunday here.
Ears up, baby. Playing for a national championship against the Montana Grizzlies. 1 o'clock on Sunday, the 7th. Why it's on a Sunday, I do not know. Competing against the NFL just seems weird, but doesn't matter. Jackrabbits play a Saturday, Sunday, whatever. We're still going to win. National champs, undefeated. Last loss was to Iowa.
Yep.
Oh, I
the last time Iowa scored, too.
Scored more than 15.
Right.
Yeah, that was the 7-3 game. 2 safeties and a field goal.
That was the start of like the joke of how bad the offense was, and now that horse has been beaten dead. Because holy hell, that we'll get into that about the bowl game, but yeah, That was the last time when it was like kind of funny that like, hey, the offense is bad, but look at how good the defense is versus South Dakota State. Which, you know what, if you're gonna look bad against any FCS team, it might as well be. I mean, aren't they on 20-ish game win streak right now?
Well, what are they this year? 13-0, and then they would have went 12-1 last year, so they've won 25 straight.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, 20 plus games. I mean, it shouldn't even shock any of us that they're almost a 2-touchdown favorite versus the next closest competition.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Montana needed 2 overtimes to get past North Dakota State to get into the national championship, and really, North Dakota State probably should have won that game, but they had that really stupid play in double overtime.
Yep.
Did North Dakota State's coach go somewhere else?
Yeah.
The North Dakota coach?
Yep.
North Dakota State, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember where he went, but
it's fine.
They're not my team.
Right. You're not part of the Bison?
Not a Bison, no.
No.
Now, the bad part about being, I guess you'd say, at the top of the FCS level is we're probably going to, our 2 best receivers, they're twins, actually, the Yankee brothers. I believe they're seniors, and then the running back is gone, and our quarterback is a junior, but people think he'll transfer to probably Illinois. He's from Illinois, and he's going to transfer out of FCS, come play some Big Ten football, and be his best bet for exposure and maybe to get into the NFL. But I guess if you stay at South Dakota State, have a chance at winning 3 national championships, that's pretty good exposure too.
I was going to say, I don't know how many more times Illinois is on national television compared to South Dakota State. So,
yeah.
True.
If you want, the only thing that Illinois can provide that they can't in Dakota is going to be playing on Peacock. So if he wants to play on the Peacock app, move to Illinois.
Illinois versus Northwestern on the cock, followed by reruns of Friends.
The Land of Lincoln Trophy, dude. That is going to be exclusively on the cock.
On the cock.
Write it. So, going back to North Dakota State coach Mac Entz, he's going to USC. It was I couldn't remember why it was weird. He's going to become an assistant coach there.
Right.
Like
probably do better
I
than
don't know.
Lincoln Riley. His teams play defense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he sees 3 steps ahead of it, and he just goes, "I'm just going to be the assistant. If he flames out in a year or two, I'm just the natural, next guy up."
Yeah.
Or goes to the NFL.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I would say those have kind of simmered after the bowl game. Before the bowl season, everyone thought he was going to the Chargers or Raiders or something, and now all of a sudden Riley is just they won the bowl game that the backup had 6 touchdowns versus Louisville. Everything that could have by the way, everything that could have gone wrong for Florida State did go wrong this bowl season.
Oh my God.
Their one opponent, they're like, look how good Louisville is though. Got fucking demolished.
Oh my God.
I mean, losing by 60 points. It was a rough one.
Yeah, and then 70% of your starters don't play in your actual bowl game against Georgia. Like, I didn't know this, and we were sitting around talking about this right after we got our audit results and stuff. So everyone's a little on edge anyway. And I just made the comment, I think it's going to be within 3 touchdowns. I think Florida State's going to show up and blah, blah, blah. And then that happened, and constant text messages from my coworkers about how fucking stupid I am. And I'm like, great, this is awesome. One of them was like, and you're on a podcast? And I was like, I have been.
That's why they haven't allowed me on the last month.
Right.
Yeah, Florida.
I have a question about
you're
that, though.
You're right back in here.
Right.
I have
Go ahead,
a question about the Florida State game. So we learned that 70% of their starters, people who transferred out, people who hit the portal, whatever, declared for draft, weren't there. Do you think that's because they got out of the playoff? They said, screw it. We're not important. Let's just get out of this.
100%.
Yeah, I heard Mike Norvell was like telling them to.
And then if say they would have gotten in, do you think it'd have been the same outcome though against Washington?
Ooh.
I mean, I don't think they would have gotten beat that
or
bad
not
because
Washington. Because they would have they would have stayed in and been number 3. So yeah, against Washington.
I don't think it would have been that bad because they had 16 out of 22 starters not playing. So
Right.
you get your starters in. You can actually game plan. I don't know. I think that game would have been closer. I don't think that they would have lost by 60 again.
I was just kind of curious because I don't think they would have either. But it was just.
I agree. If they played Washington, it would have been closer. Obviously, I think Michigan would have done the same thing, even with the starters. Not 60 points, but I think just that line with as dominant as it was, and you saw versus Alabama, I think they would have run them out. The only reason I say Washington wouldn't have is it just seems like Washington just played really poor. And why Penix lost the Heisman is they had like the last 6 games, they had a close Arizona State game. Everything was close. They still won, and that's kind of a characteristic in itself, doing enough to win. But like, they didn't look stellar like Georgia did for most of the year.
Right. But I want to say that Michigan probably would have been closer because I don't want anyone thinking that I'm doubting Michigan, especially the players.
Yes. Well, I sent that like angrily, and then I agree. Like, hey, you know what? You technically were doubted because everyone's like, you know who's probably going to win? The team that's won 30 straight games and back-to-back national champion going for a third one. So, yes, you weren't 100% believed in, but, like, that Michigan linebacker going, everyone doubted us all year. Like, you were odds-on favorite in every game, I think, this year. Like, there's no way that
The only reason anybody's ever doubted them is because, oh man, they got rid of their sign stealer. They don't know what's coming. That's the only reason I've ever doubted them.
I thought they were going to lose 2 or 3.
Oh, I had money. I had money on Bama for that reason.
No, it's one of those. Also, did you hear the McCarthy said, well, due to Ohio State stealing signs in 2019 and 20, they didn't play in 2020, so we had to come up with our own scheme. It's like, okay, so they stole, signs in game.
Mm-hmm.
So you hired a legion of spies to go to a network of games and have anytime a manifesto is involved, it's bad.
Yep.
I don't know if there's ever been a good manifesto, and they had a crazy person leading this whole operation. His name was Jim Harbaugh, not Connor Stallions. Jim Harbaugh knew. We all know he knew. I'm sorry. I can't believe that we feign to believe that.
Which Harbaugh had the better weekend, John or Jim?
Jim, he got the monkey off his back.
Well,
Yeah, but Jim demolished Miami.
Yeah, and that was for the best record in the AFC, and
Right.
man, they took it to Miami.
And now everyone knows it's going through Baltimore. There's no doubt right now the AFC goes through Baltimore. I agree. And Jack Harbaugh looks good. He looks healthy. So it was a great weekend overall for all of the Harbaughs.
Yeah.
Except for Jay Harbaugh, that special teams coach for Michigan. They struggled a little bit, and it was damn near a bad weekend for him.
Is the Super Bowl logo got purple in it, or black and purple, or anything like that?
It's purple and red, right?
Purple and red. So it's going to be the 49ers and the Ravens.
Not the Vikings.
No orange. No orange there, Heath. Or brown, I guess. It's orange. Goes through Cleveland. I hope it does. I would love to see Cleveland in the Super Bowl.
With Flacco.
Cleveland versus Detroit.
Yeah, with Flacco. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Like if honestly, if the Chiefs don't make it, that's
Flacco
right,
around and find out.
Flacco around.
That's good.
I like that.
Yeah, if the Chiefs don't make it to the Super Bowl again, I want Browns. Fuck it. Let's just have the most chaos this year.
Bryant wants to see the world burn.
Yeah.
How great would that be?
They have to sign Russell Wilson first.
Ugh. How great would that be to see the Browns in the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco as their quarterback after they spent all that money on Deshaun Watson and him just Flacco's the man. He's getting her done.
He has more touchdown passes this year than Kenny Pickett has in his career.
Joe Flacco has more touchdown passes this year with the Browns than Deshaun Watson has the last 2 years.
How many touchdowns does he have?
I think it was like 16.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he officially has more thrown touchdowns than Russ Wilson has bathrooms in his house. That was a whole thing last year with the 12 bathrooms, 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, and how many games? Flacco hasn't played that many games, and it took Russ Wilson like 16 games to get there last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, there are rumors that he could go to the Vikings, so God, I hope that does not happen.
Russ Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I saw someone get up today that they were asking Dominic Foxworth where he should go or what team should be interested in Russ Wilson. He said nobody.
That's at least he's honest. If he goes to the Vikings, I will just become a full-blown 49ers fan just for my boy Brock. If they pick Russ Wilson up, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Is there any bad team that really absolutely needs him though? All of the bad teams kind of have their guy. They just don't have a good roster around them.
Yeah.
There is one team in Georgia that doesn't know who their quarterback is, and they do not need Russ Wilson in there. Please, God, no.
Joey wants the Falcons to pick up Russ Wilson.
No.
You heard it.
Russell Wilson has been my least favorite quarterback in the league since he got in the league. I hate Russell Wilson.
When mayo is spicy to you, that'll happen.
Yeah. Speaking of the 12 bathrooms, he only had 11 wins in his career at the Broncos. So more bathrooms than wins.
Do you know what's crazy? I also have more bathrooms than NFL wins.
Holy
Me and Russell Wilson.
shit.
Me and Russell Wilson, not so different.
Is that Mr. Unlimited up there?
Ooh.
Mr. Unlimited Trent? Man.
Hell yes.
Well,
3 firsts.
we've,
You see that, Joey?
What?
Heath says the Browns can trade Flacco to the Falcons for 3 first-round picks.
Sure. Do you want the 3 that are on the roster that they don't use right now? Because that would probably work out.
He'll take Kyle Pitts off your hands.
Somehow the Falcons would still improve.
They'll still win the South because I could win the South by myself.
Okay.
Hey, no, don't you be dissing Baker Mayfield, man. He Oklahoma legend. He's on his 4th team and he's taken this is the 2nd one to the playoffs. I mean, that's something.
Damn right.
Him taking the Browns to the playoffs was a pretty good feat, and then they just threw him to the curb like yesterday's trash.
I don't get it, man. Like, and honestly, it's almost like, are the Browns because of decisions like that, or do decisions that should be good happen like that because of the Browns? Like, it's chicken or egg on where the curse is, self-induced, or they were always cursed and a good decision turns bad. So.
Let us know, Heath.
Yeah,
you're the Browns fan here.
Give us some context on that, please.
Yeah.
I think the Deshaun one, I don't think any of us liked that one from the beginning. More the personal stuff than him as a football player. But
he says the Browns are blessed,
well.
so must have been Mayfield.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, not that I want to turn the conversation negative, but should we just get our bowl games out of the way so we can get our anger out and be happy the rest of the way?
Yeah, that was not so amateur hour that we just had there.
Right. That was
very
NFL.
Actually, professional.
Yep.
No. I'm going to be selfish. I want to get our bullshit game out of the way here. Memphis 36, Iowa State 30. Memphis covered plus 10.5 with ease. I think by 5 minutes into the game they covered it. And then the over hits of I think it was 48 and it was 56 or 66 for the total. Holy shit, what a shit show the first flipping quarter there, dude.
Yeah.
Did you catch most of it?
Yeah, I did. Down 19, 10 minutes into the game. Not good. They showed some fight. They came back, but man, they just tried to run the ball too long. They ended up the game with 0 yards rushing. Just Rocco Becht set the Iowa State single game record for passing yards. Just man.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of these stats, just crazy. Probably one of them set a Liberty Bowl record. Rocco Becht, 446 yards, 22 of 38, 446 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's an Iowa State football record, most passing yards. Abu Sama, 12 attempts, 4 yards after he went off for like 30 yards a pop in the Kansas State game.
Yeah.
And then Higgins, 9 receptions, 214 yards, a touchdown. Like, I know you have to establish a run. I can even appreciate that because, like, you might be able to hit him with something, but when you're down three touchdowns at that point, who the fuck cares if you ever run the ball? Especially when you have Higgins, it would be like you're getting stuffed. Okay, we have a little short slant and a 30-yard bomb and a 30-yard bomb. Like, they just kept hitting him. I don't know why you'd ever go away from that.
Higgins was so much better than that corner that was guarding him. So much better. Mm-hmm. What did he have? 200? How many yards did he have? 220?
Higgins? 214.
214 yards. Dude could have had 300. Like, that cornerback was not great. Just keep giving him the ball.
Well, our cornerbacks weren't looking too great either, to be honest. That's what this is. Honestly, it feels like the Big 12 from 10 to 12 years ago, back and forth. Yeah, there's just all gas, no brakes for scoring.
Yep.
But I didn't think Tampa. I'll be honest, Tampa we knew was going to be a big loss, even as much as we don't want to believe like, oh, it's lowly Memphis. That's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
I didn't think Verdone was going to be that big of a loss, and holy shit, apparently it is.
Yeah, Memphis can score. They scored all season. Ended up winning 10 games this season. Now, if Tampa would have been playing,
Wait, what's that? They
what
won 10 games?
10
That's
games.
all that matters. That's all that matters.
Double digits.
Yeah, what's Trent, as Iowa State fans, I don't know if we could speak about winning 10 games in a season. I don't know what that is.
I think I sent a text during the Iowa game that had something to do with that. Oh my God. Anyway, I think Tampa could have shut down Joe Skates. Joseph Skates, the Iowa State transfer to Memphis, you could tell he was pumped and ready to play his old team. And he played well and had a good game. I think if Tampa would have shut him down.
I'm looking at the top 4 receivers, 8 catches, 102 yards, like 12 reception, 2 for 76, 3 for 75, 2 for 4. They were just getting bomb after bomb after bomb, man.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It kind of the biggest frustration, obviously, the score, whatever. I can't believe how bad our line on both sides got dominated. We couldn't get any push with the run. Rocco was even getting frustrated at the end with how much he was getting hit. And then our defensive line, like, we started doing some blitzes later in the game. Once we're so far behind, it didn't matter at that point, But, like, this 3 front, unless you have – shocker, you lose your first-round talent at defensive end, you're not as good. But, like, that has always been an issue this year with not being able to create enough pressure. They've done it in some games, but, like, they just look so poor this game.
That's John Heacock's defense, that 3 down lineman rush 3. And, man, if you can't get pressure on it, it's tough. But their quarterback sat back there, and he was able to make those plays. And it, like you mentioned last year, we had this NFL first rounder that you could rush 3, and he's getting double teamed every time. So that takes another guy away. That we didn't have that this year. So, I mean, hopefully next year, you have Dom Orange coming back. That dude's still a beast. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think this is probably the worst game that Heacock's defense could have had.
Yeah. And, I that's where I didn't want to get too mad at the game because it's like, you can't be mad at I can be frustrated, but I'm never going to go. I saw people, and I think it's just people being idiots on Twitter, but they're like, Heacock needs to go. It's like, are you fucking stupid? He's had one bad game in, like, Matt Campbell's tenure, a terrible game, and it's just I get you frustrated, but, like, just don't be stupid with that stuff. But one thing, go ahead.
No, you go.
One thing I was looking at here, and I just saw this, otherwise I was going to make it a point. It looks like we had a bunch of underclassmen. We're bringing back all of our underclassmen, all of our starters, on the offense, and I think 9 on defense, 8 or 9.
Yep, 9.
Right. We're going to need that experience because we got beat 6 times this year. The quarterbacks that beat us were Cade McNamara. Is he a junior or is he technically a senior, Joey or Dave? Either one.
He's 6-year senior now.
Yeah,
6-year senior. So 5th-year senior this year, but experienced. Mm-hmm. He started quite a couple seasons. Curtis,
did he go to a playoff?
And went to the playoff. That playoff, Iowa State is similar competition. but we got beat by 5th-year senior at Iowa, senior in Ohio. I think 5th-year senior or senior in Gabriel with Oklahoma. Senior with Jason Bean started that game for Kansas. Junior with Quinn, but he's got his own accolades. He's a higher level. And then there's junior from Memphis. Like, we just struggled with these players that knew when to get the ball out. Experienced enough where they've had enough reps. They know to get this ball the fuck out of there and not. If it's not there, what do I do? We were able to take advantage of this. Young defense couldn't create enough pressure fast enough to take full advantage of these guys that have been around for a minute. So I don't know. I hope in this offseason they can get on the lines. They need to get stronger. And as far as, like, on defense, we just need more speed, man, because we're bringing in 4 teams. 3 of them I know for sure have great speed. Arizona State, I don't know, but I think they're on the right track too. We'll get left behind if we don't make some improvements this offseason.
Yeah, I'm not real worried though. What should I mean, this win would have been great to springboard into the next season, winning a bowl game.
Yeah.
But again, it's a Liberty Bowl. Go out there, don't get hurt, don't tear your ACL, whatever. And Iowa State's going to return 20 starters in this new Big 12. You don't have Texas, you don't have Oklahoma. I'm not saying Iowa State can win the Big 12 next year, but I think they'll be right there. I mean, they were right there this year. They had a chance to go to Dallas to play for the Big 12 championship this year. And I think it can be the same situation next year.
See, when we get to conference play, Campbell he's good. It's the non-conference that scares me, Trent, because holy shit, can we not – that was the one thing that I was so frustrated. It's like we've had a month to prepare for Memphis, and you hear about how Memphis redid their whole defense. Their offense was ready. And it's like, so what the fuck were we doing for this last month? Like, we didn't play in a conference game. We've had the same amount of time to prep here, and that's one thing that I think if it continues, the next couple of years, and it's frustrating now, is like, as great as of a coach Campbell is, like, how is it that when it's less time to prep, which if you look at our best year COVID, we had less time to prep because it was, limited practice. When we have that short amount of time, Campbell is the guy. He can get them ready instant. But if you have a month, that's what worries me, is like all of a sudden these other coaches outpace him and he doesn't, like, you can't consistently have these slow starts in non-conference and bowl games and everything in between and go, well, it's part of his system. You can't get behind. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you can't be a consistent winner and play from behind and play hero ball when, no offense, we don't have Purdy or Reese. We don't have the heroes anymore. We got some good ones coming up, but you can't, like, let's just rely on two freshmen starting in the backfield and the quarterback and rely on them to bring us back. It's like, come on, like, help them out at this point.
So Sam Bricker just says Iowa versus Iowa State in 2024, calling it now. Iowa 38, Iowa State 9. Go Hawks. 38? Are they going to play 3 games this year?
I was thinking 38 games, but
combine those.
Yeah. I agree with the 9.
13 to 3 straight weeks is what he's saying.
Yeah.
I agree with the 9. Maybe he's thinking if you add the 3 and 8, you get 11. They win 11 to 9. That makes more sense.
He says, I said what I said.
No, there's honestly, you beat us 20 to 13, and that's with the worst offense in your school's history. You can literally only go up from here at this point. Brian Ferentz is now gone, so
I feel like that was like when Iowa was playing their best offense too. Like, it progressively just got worse.
You say that, and then the new offensive coordinator is going to be hold my beer, and
hold my beer, Kirk. Now Kirk's gonna say, no. You do what I say.
Right. No beer here.
Yeah. You run the ball.
I mean, really,
on 3rd and 8.
That was that the one game this year where Iowa had all of their players with the Iowa State game? Because Tate didn't play week 1, did he? Or it was very limited, like one series.
Yeah, it was limited.
Mm-hmm.
We literally only played Iowa the 1 week they're full strength. Then their tight ends and quarterbacks and everyone else got injured. Iowa State luck right there, man.
And see, they were just high-flying offense, putting up all 20 points there.
That would have won you exactly 0 of those ranked games.
I heard that. So Iowa, we're kind of going to get away from we can go go to the Iowa game now, but Brian Ferentz needed to score 25 points a game. They did that twice this year.
That's how you become. That's how you get an average 2 out of 14 games.
It's also how you get fired.
Speaking of, true, hot take from this bowl game, Bryant, you can go ahead with the score if you want.
What's that?
I would say hot take for this ball game. For me, fire Kirk Ferentz.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's scalding right there, Joey. Holy shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's move to the Iowa game so we can just get it over with. We don't want to think about it too long. Tennessee 35, Iowa 0. Tennessee covers the 5.5 with ease. The under hits. The under barely hit. Trent was shaking in his boots on that one. Wasn't
Half a point. Half a point. That's all it took.
Okay, this is going to be a woulda, coulda, shoulda thing. I bet Iowa scoring 0 points versus Michigan, and it hit like plus 300. And in the conference championship game, I was so pissed about Iowa State on Friday. I damn near did it again. I was like, you know what? Don't be a hater, man. That would be the time when Deacon Hill goes off or whatever. And I can't tell you how much regret I have knowing that I could have just been a full hater and gotten paid out like 3 times my money again. Probably 4 actually, because Michigan very solid defense. Tennessee, I don't think. Well, now we see that it was actually fully legit, but it would have paid out a little better.
I don't even know what words to put into this. The only thing I could say is we should focus on 10 wins. That's what we should focus on, not the lack of scoring, the month of prep and we still score 0 points, the zero offensive yards we had in Deacon Hill's first 15 attempts. Yeah, amazing.
Oh, you mean the scripted plays that are supposed to be the 100% we have these down pat plays?
Well, I don't know if anyone saw I believe it was the first drive when we were getting ready to score, and he doesn't even look at anyone else, throws it to the one guy that's double covered and throws it 3 yards behind him as well. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. When I saw that happen, I knew this was in trouble.
Yep.
The thing though, I do have one point to make that positive is even though it was 35-0, the defense did what they could, but you could tell that defense was worn down, tired.
Oh yeah.
And knowing that they were going to have to play their asses off to probably even keep it halfway decent, but still, you could just tell they were worn down. And I think that's where you got the 35-0 is that defense was just worn down from the previous pretty much 9 games of having to do everything.
I was going to say the previous 12.
I saw a stat the other day that per play, Iowa's defensive players averaged, per minutes per game, average double what normal defenses do. That how you're playing 2 games in one game every single time because our offense can't get off the field or can't stay on the field.
Props to their strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, no
I also think I think Tennessee's no huddle also was a big killer. I think along with having a defense already worn out from the whole season, and then you have an offense that decides to just do no huddle or as fast as they can, that kind of wears it down. And then
that's a good point because Iowa doesn't normally see that in the Big Ten West. They really don't.
Well,
so I think
that's what I was going to bring up. Go ahead.
But other than that, I have to agree with Joey. I'm not as far as scolding hot take, but something needs looked into this offseason. They need to I put another stipulation, but on Kirk, if they're not going to fire him, you have to do this, and you let your offensive coordinator run the offense. You let them do what they think is right.
Right.
Some type of stipulation needs to happen. And I guess I hope Deacon Hill is not the starter. That guy can't. You could have a whole broadside of a barn 10 yards away, and I think he'd overthrow it. He'd throw it over the roof. You can't do nothing.
Is Kirk finally gave in and let Linez play for one drive. And literally, he rushed for 50 yards.
Right.
So it's we have someone that isn't just a big tree stump back there that is going to get hit no matter how fast or slow defensive end if they get by. I mean, that is the one positive. You won't see Deacon Hill at all next year unless – I'm not even going to say it. He will be third or fourth, if not fourth string.
Corey Taylor
I
had
would-
360 yards punting, so that's pretty good, I guess.
Punting is winning.
Yep.
Um,
Unless you're not winning.
Right. I like the Linez. He looked really, really good. But yeah, McNamara's coming back. He'll be the starter. Linez will probably be second. I would not doubt if Deacon Hill transfers. I mean, I would.
Where the hell is he going to transfer to, though? Like, who's going to take that?
Like this Sam Bricker said, he could be a guard at a D3 school. Like,
Yeah.
go to NAIA and go play there. Like that's he should be.
I think Cade McNamara is going to be their starter, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
And then Deacon Hill is going to be second string. And Linez is going to be third string. Because Kirk Ferentz all year, when asked, why didn't you try out Labus? Well, why would we? Deacon Hill is doing really good. He's going to stick with that so much that he's going to still have him as a second string and have Linez as the third string next year. I'm calling it now.
I can see that happening too.
because you are so right.
I just made you guys hate the 2024 season right now, and it's January 3rd.
And all we're doing is getting people committing to coming back. Lachey's coming back. McNamara. Higgins. We're still waiting on Coop. Word is that he's leaning towards it. So
Lachey's back too, right?
yeah. We just haven't heard from Eric all yet.
Okay.
See, this is where, like, if we're at the end of the year recap type thing, part of our agenda part is I'm very anxious, very curious to see, like, when the new offensive coordinator comes in, like, seeing the spring ball and seeing, like, what they're going to try with them. I think if we could get, like, a stipulation for Kirk is let the offensive coordinator be in charge of the offense. Like, no more influence or anything. Let them take the reins. But is that going to happen? Probably not. Kirk's going to just say, no, I want to run on first, pass on second, run on third.
So, question for you Hawkeye fans. Do you think that new offensive coordinator will come from within the program?
No.
Somebody who's already there, or do you think they'll go outside the program?
I think they're going to go outside.
Yeah, the only names I've heard are from outside. I've heard Joe Philbin and Paul Christ. That's the only people I've heard. I wish. I don't think LeVar Woods would take an offensive quarterback job. Offensive coordinator. Jesus Christ. I think he only wants a head coaching job. So I think he stays as special teams until the HC comes available. And Phil Parker wants nothing to do with head coaching. But my question is, what the hell did Phil Parker do, or what does he have on Kirk Ferentz for Kirk to let him run the defense without any questions? Like, whatever he did, the new offensive coordinator needs to do at the same time.
If you're that good at it, he better let him.
Right.
You know what it
That's a
probably
good
is?
point.
He's probably got the balls to say, Kirk, I run this shit the best in the country. Leave it be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you haven't seen an offense above probably 70th in the last. I mean, at least in this last graduation class.
Wade,
right? So that's
I think
probably
Joey's
Kirk
onto
goes,
something though. Like, what?
Yeah.
What is the behind closed doors scenes that Phil Parker's able to, like, not have any, like, there's no influence from Kirk. There's nothing. It is his defense and everything. Like, what did he do, or what did he have to do to get that?
When the defense is on the field, like, they'll pan over to Kirk and he's on his play card worrying about the offense coming up. I mean, I suppose that's a good feeling for Kirk, and it probably happened from years of working with Phil, because Phil was under Norm, I think, Norm Parker. And I mean, that's probably where it came from, but still, like, he has nothing to do with the defense, and I wish he was that way with the offense.
For the longest
I think
time,
even if he was, Brian Ferentz wouldn't be able to run anything on his own either.
Yeah. This is wishful thinking for the next guy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right there.
For the longest time, I had Norm Parker and Phil Parker was another nepotism case. I'll be real honest. Like, it was like this year that I learned.
Yep.
Just a coincidence.
this is my wishful thinking. Is I have two wishes that hopefully it could happen. It might not. Is I hope Cooper DeJean comes back. I really do. And the next thing is I hope the next offensive coordinator can rig up some type of play to where if you're listening on the radio or however you're watching, and almost have like a Tate to Holloway type thing, but in the regular season, not in a bowl game. Regular season, have like a Tate to Holloway type pass. Like I would love to see something like that again.
Mm-hmm.
You're describing a forward pass, Dave.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I want to see that again. Like,
do you think if Iowa needed 70 yards to win their bowl game this year, like they did there, like, oh, another run up the middle, Iowa loses?
How many quarters do we get?
You know what the crazy thing is? I've watched the Holiday Bowl. Now that you mention it, maybe we saw the same replay. I saw it, and you watch this first quarter. It's like, where the fuck? How did you go from Brad Banks to this offense to Ricky Stanzi to Nate Stan, where you have the ability to do it, and you just go, you know what? Let's do Ferentz ball. Let's just run it, burn as much time as possible, and be too afraid to make a mistake, and wait for them to make a mistake.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Joey,
the only thing I was going to say is I don't know if it was everyone else has innovated. I can't figure it out, so I'm going to stick to what I know. And I say all this with the caveat of Kirk wins ball games. Like, it is wonderful to be a Hawkeye fan knowing that almost every year we're going to win at least 8 games. And some years we're going to win 10 and it's going to feel really good. And some years we're going to surprise motherfuckers to be ranked number 2 and win 12 games. Like, it's going to happen. But it's so frustrating watching football like this. It sucks. Like, this whole 10-win season just deflates everything. It makes me so mad.
And one of the things, Bryant says about them going backwards now, this coming year, they're going to have to adapt because now you're going to play USC. Now you're going to be playing Washington. Now you're going to be playing UCLA. This isn't the Big Ten West anymore. These teams are going to score and they're going to move fast. So
there's no divisions now. So we have every chance to play those guys that you mentioned from the Pac-12. Yeah. And Michigan, Ohio State. Like, there is a possibility where we could play USC, Washington, Michigan, and Ohio State all in the same year. Like, that's terrifying if we can't score points.
Yep.
Going back real quick,
those are the games I would close my eyes.
If there's one good thing about Ferentz ball, though, you guys, is you're going to have your 10 wins and all that, but you're not going to have a stupid loss like Miami did to Georgia Tech like week 3 where they didn't kneel it. And you're not going to have what Washington almost just did and lose a game because of fucking trying to ball. When you could just kneel it, you don't have to get fancy yards, and you have an injury that causes a timeout and you give them a minute left to play rather than 20 seconds, which is what Kirk would have had.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, and I'm not trying to pick on Iowa State here, but you see every year the mistakes that cost Iowa State in even the Iowa State game. I mean, that weird ass punt return and all that stuff, like that doesn't happen to Iowa most of the time. Mm-hmm. They don't make dumb mistakes. So yes, is he very good at coaching and keeping the game under control? Very much. But open the offense up. That's all I'm asking.
You take some of the spirit out of the game when there's no like Hail Mary, like the breath taking away what's going to happen when it's just like run the ball, pass 8. We need 8 yards, pass it for 7. They just take the. I think every Iowa fan would have been fine with just as many interceptions. You throw 10 more interceptions on the year if you would have chucked it deep. To be honest, like just occasionally threw it.
Just trying to do that.
Fine.
Yeah.
We all survived Drew Tate. Of course, we'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in Deacon Hill's defense, he could have chucked that ball down there. I mean, he throws 100-mile-an-hour fastball every time. I bet he can throw it a long ways. We just don't know because we never got to see it.
He'll throw it 100 miles an hour. He just needs a shovel pass, but he'll chuck that thing straight.
I'm sure.
all his tight ends have broken fingers right now.
I would hate to have to like room with him and ask him to grab you a beer out of the fridge or something, because that's coming right at your fucking face.
Right in the bowl.
Joey's always got a catcher's mitt on.
The mask.
And the mask, I was going to
Hell
say.
Yeah.
Chest guard, just the whole get up.
Yep.
Hey, can you toss me that knife? Oh, Jesus! Nothing ever underhand, always overhand with them.
What is it? Andy Bernard says, "Beer me that disc."
Beer me. Beer me, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on. One thing I did want to bring up, because we flew through it because I wanted to talk about some positive with Iowa. Tory Taylor getting that record for the most punting yards in a season, breaking it 60, or I'm sorry, stood for 84 years. I think I sent it to you guys. Did you read the article or the congratulations letter from Johnny Pingle's family? They were so mad that he got this record. They're literally talking about, yep, this did stand since 1938. And we'd like to point out that Johnny did it in 9 games compared to Tory Taylor did it in 14 games. And they're making this big old deal about how it's like more yards per game. But I don't know if you guys felt the same way I did when I was reading this article. It's like, yeah, he did it in less games. But do you know back in 1938, they used to, like, they literally say in this letter here, oh, we just, if no one was, he was the quarterback, and if no one was open, it's kind of a cool play if you think about it. If no one was open, I would unexpectedly punt it and have them not expect it and then pin them deep, which is like, I think Iowa legitimately should add that to their offense next year. Just add a little wrinkle to it. But also, like, so you got the record by doing shit when no one expected it. Like, well, gee, what a wonderful, like, yeah, we could just punt on first down and also you control when you punt on any down. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty hard record to break when you just make those decisions, you know?
Mm-hmm. You must have missed the Cover 3 podcast where they covered the record for most punts in a game.
We went over this.
Any guesses?
We went over this on the podcast.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't on.
It was like 74 or something like that, wasn't it?
77. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few ideas for the off season here, Joey, and that was one of the games I wanted to cover was
hell yes.
Because literally they didn't have lights, it was all rainy, and yeah, it was like, and because the balls weren't as good, so you couldn't throw it as well. It's like, fuck it, we might as well just punt and literally have a punt off to see who fumbles it closer to the goal line. And
I want that. So, oh my God, I would love to watch that. I might as well watch rugby, I guess.
Well, speaking of that was a trivia question, Brian. Did we not get a trivia question tonight?
No, I had one kind of a bullshit gimme one for basketball, but I forgot for football here. So drop the ball. I guess call me a Kansas City Chiefs receiver because I dropped the ball on that one.
Yep.
Yeah, damn. Legitimately, sorry. Go into pro sports real quick. How can you have 7 professionals and 6 of them can't catch the ball reliably? That's insane.
I have no words for you, man.
Yeah,
maybe it's because the quarterback throwing to them is not very good.
Yeah, it's got
that is it.
You know what it is? If someone said this is going to be a fully bad year and everything bad goes wrong because of how much luck you've had the last 4 years and how good you've been, I'd be like, that's fair. That is karma. Like you only get so much good before bad happens. I'd accept that. But like, there's literally no other explanation on why it is the way it is.
Right.
What was I gonna say? I had one other thing I think for Iowa. I think if we're gonna do like the end of year stuff, man, like I said, I think if we can, I can't remember if Contreras is back for Iowa State, our kicker. If we lose him, I think we need it. He won so many games because of how well he played. It's amazing. Yep. Speaking of the dumb mistakes Iowa State makes in special teams, having a special teams coach and growing from that in this offseason, you know, if we can just get, if our lines on both sides can just improve, we have, I think, every other position enough. You know, I think linebackers can use some work. our corners, they somehow get them ready to play every year, but like we just need the hosses, and those are so tough to come by. But like,
Yep.
we that's probably the one area we absolutely have to improve on if we're going to make any splash or compete in the new Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like I said, with Contreras coming back, you got to have that kicker. I mean, that's points right there, and we've been so bad at that. We have to have that.
Anything else you wish for from Iowa State?
Oh, I can
An
wish.
offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Dave gave his wishes for Iowa.
Line.
To win in the trenches. We talk about it all the time. Never happens.
How about looking? I'm not even saying we have to win all our non-conference games. Obviously, I'd love to beat Iowa, and I think can't remember who it is next year. But like, let's look like we're ready to play in the non-conference before we get to conference play, and I'm feeling worried about how our season's going. Like, let's start 2-1, 3-0, and let's be ready because like this year, I know norovirus hit us in the Ohio game, but like the Iowa game was not as close as 20-13. We all watched that game; it wasn't close. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
The UNI game, shocker. I'd hope you could beat an FCS team that didn't make their playoffs. You know, let's just look competent and ready week 1 through 3 so we can feel good going into the Big 12 when we do run the new Big 12. Now I'm back to we're going to win this thing. We're going to go to the playoffs, and it's going to be amazing.
We play the North Dakota Fighting Hawks.
Oh, okay.
The Iowa Hawkeyes and Arkansas State.
Tiger
Butch
Hawks.
Jones.
What's that?
Butch Jones is for isn't he for Arkansas State, I think?
Yeah, I mean they're never a pushover either. So,
well, when you come in with a game plan kind of like this Memphis game, anyone can win any week if you're not going to come in and make adjustments week by week.
Yep.
You know? So,
yep.
Again,
which Prairie Valley alumni played at Arkansas State for football? He played tight end.
I know this.
FYI.
He was in my sister's
Brandon
class.
Henson.
Yep, it was Brandon Henson.
Yep.
I didn't know his name, but I remember that we did have someone go D1 technically, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got Graves, and is Kyler Fisher back next year for you guys, or was he a senior this year?
That's a good question. I know he finally started this year, but I don't know if he's back or not.
Southeast Valley is a breeding ground for D1 football.
That's right.
Iowa's non-con next year is Illinois State, Iowa State, and Troy, and you got to play at Ohio State, and you host Washington next year.
Mm-hmm.
3 losses in those 5 games I just mentioned.
Yeah, Northern Illinois.
And Troy.
Troy is Troy,
and we beat Ohio State.
No, yeah, you're gonna go 0-3 versus those first 3, and then beat Washington and Ohio State. It's
shutting down Maserati Marv.
That's how Iowa does it for some reason.
Yep.
Let's be real honest. You would take 0-3 in the non-con to go 9-0 in the Big 10, right?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
being that Big 10 championship.
Yeah,
game.
You'd have to deal with Cyclones, but you'd beat Ohio State and Washington the first year. I think that'd be a pretty easy trade-off.
Ohio State and the potential national champions.
Can I take a L to Troy to trade an L to Washington?
Sure. I don't care. It will not change anything. So yeah, we'll change the hypothetical for you, Joey. As long as you beat Ohio State, who cares? You got plenty of time to run
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, I want to just beat Ohio State more than anything.
Win in the shoe too. No, don't even win at home. Everyone can win at home, but go to the shoe and beat them. That'd be a fair trade-off.
Maybe we get another CJ Beathard type game where he almost beat them at Ohio State. God, that was beautiful.
What teams? He's on the Jags, right?
He's starting.
Yes.
He started for him last week.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence is
He's hurt.
not sick, hurt. So,
He hurt his
but
hair.
Did you see his face on that hit? Like that zoomed in face from his it's like a boxer where his like skin is off his skull.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, let's see if we
Oh,
we
wow.
gotta be able to find this.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that was probably the best. Is like when they're like Trevor Lawrence is out and it's like concussion or whatever for this next week's game, and that was the picture they used. That was like the perfect. It's like, gee, I wonder when he got the concussion. You think it's when his skull was here and his skin was over here?
Yeah.
Right.
You find it in there, Trent?
Not yet.
Well, here I can
Did he have a
filibuster
surprised look
for
on
a
his
while.
face like Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. Oh God, let's not bring up Aaron Rodgers.
My filibuster is going to take a long time.
Oh God.
For my
Let's hear
wishes
it.
for Iowa, fire Kirk Ferentz. That's it. That is it. And that's
Oh
all.
shit! Yeah. Any more? Do you want to grandstand a little bit on that one?
No, that's all I want.
I mean, I've heard that the big thing, and maybe it's just a guess, but like I've heard that he's like trying to do one more year to like ensure that he makes the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Fame for coaching. But like, I'm pretty sure he qualifies already, doesn't he?
I mean, I would think so.
I'm trying to find his coaching record, but yeah, I'm like pretty sure that you have to have won over 60% of your games, and I'm pretty sure he's done that. Yeah, 10-4. What's shit? He's 208 and 140 as a head coach all time.
Oh God damn!
Holy cow.
Yeah, 200 wins should get him in there. Man, that's a terrible picture. That looks like it hurts.
Yeah, his like skin is not attached to his skull.
It looks like the letters on his helmet moved. Like, aren't the J and A like combined now too?
That's how hard he got hit.
Yeah, it moved plastic.
Yeah, that's rough.
Kind of looks like Uncle Rico.
Plays football like him too.
You can throw
Little
that football
mustache
in
up
their
there.
mountains.
Throw a steak at Napoleon.
Yeah.
So right now, Kirk will not be fired. He won't leave after this year, at least, Joey. Right now, he's at 59.77% winning percentage. And for the Hall of Fame, you got to be over 60%. So, I mean, if you go another 10-2, let me pull up your. I mean, as long as he wins, I think as long as he wins probably like 9 games next year, he's probably in at that point. 9-4.
We already talked about this. They're going 9-3, losing all 3 non-cons.
Right.
Oh, yeah. See, now you absolutely have to trade a Joey. You can't take the L to Troy or Washington. You have to get get one of those dubs.
I'm fine with Kirk not making the Hall of Fame. So
I mean, exactly. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like Hall of Fame is like the best. The Bo Schembechlers, the best. I mean, are we doing the Hall of Very Good, and it's because he was here the longest? I mean, that's.
he's never won a Big Ten title. I mean, what other than winning the Big Ten West, which everyone knows is a joke most years. It's usually between us and Wisconsin, and sometimes you get another random.
What happened in
who else does he beat?
the Orange Bowl? Didn't they win
What's
that
that?
year? Didn't they win the year that they went to the Orange Bowl versus USC?
No, because someone played the national championship. Was that Ohio State, Miami?
Was that Maurice Claret year?
It might have been.
Was that long ago?
Yeah.
I thought they won it when they played Stanford.
All right, maybe I'm wrong. Give me
No,
a
because
second.
they lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten championship game. that
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Damn it.
did you guys hear that? Christian
What's that?
McCaffrey just scored another touchdown in that game.
I was just gonna say they don't want to relive it, Trent. And then you had to bring up that he did score again in the Rose Bowl.
Just right now.
So yes, he has never won a Big Ten championship. He's won 3 division championships.
Three division. He's tied for first in 2002 and 2004. But I don't know, man. It's tough for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, no, he doesn't deserve it, because again, he's been there forever. But I don't know, man. I think once he ends the season, he's above 60% winning percentage. I think he's done. I bet you if he was above 60% winning percentage this year, he would have retired. Him and his son go out at this time.
Man. So what would he have needed to get? Probably 2 if we would have went undefeated, basically.
I think that's
at least in the regular season.
Yeah,
probably.
209 divided by 348. If he would have beat Tennessee, he would have been at 60.05. So literally 1 game away.
But you know what, everyone? What we need to focus on is 10 wins. That's the number one thing. Everyone needs to remember we had 10 wins.
I don't want to do revisionist history, but if they hadn't called that the invalid signal, you would have had the 1 win. Kirk might have been gone. Coop was probably a Heisman candidate at that point, because now that's 2 game winners on top of being one of the better safeties, corners in the country. On the best defense, you're getting the spotlight on you, and you're not making mistakes. That refereeing crew should never have a job again. I'm just going to say it as an Iowa State fan to support my Hawkeye brethren.
I love that. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
But legitimately, I think how much of that a ripple effect now that you bring that into play, what could have been, Kirk might have just been gone.
Right.
What makes that statement even better is that it didn't come from Hawkeye Trent.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's that?
What tells us down our chest.
Sorry, what'd I say?
Nothing this time.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about how Kirk, if he won one more game, he would have been at 60%. He might have retired this year then, because he would have been above the threshold.
Yeah.
So I've also heard some rumors of DeJean potentially coming back.
Yep.
It's like Instagram comments about him. Shit, is that confirmed yet?
No, not yet.
He's coming back.
No, Higgins is the only one tonight that got confirmed, but Dylan sent me the same thing.
Yeah, something about the 2-3 running back or some shit. It's like, what do you mean? Just say what you're. Don't do this, LeBron or fucking. Social. Just tell us, man. Right. Because no offense, I think everyone wants him to go to the NFL. Don't get injured. Be great. But if you come back, we'll take it.
Right.
Just commit. Don't. Oh, I'm so mysterious. Hate that.
There's not a college student in the world that's that mysterious. They all think they are, but.
Yeah. No, just tell us, man. No one needs these games. Just tell us so we can be at peace one way or another. But
so I'm looking through the schedule and never mind. Sorry. This is just ranking. Never mind. You're good. Forget I said anything.
Rankings wall.
Well, I was looking through this and I'm still on the Iowa Hawkeye Wikipedia page. I was looking through this for Big Ten titles, and I saw a section for final rankings. I started looking at the records. I was like, oh, hey, we haven't we haven't had less than 8 wins since forever ago. And I was like, wait, that's 1981, and skipped a whole bunch of numbers. So yeah, just forget I said anything.
Taking out COVID, you've only had 1 season less than 8 wins since 2013, and that's when you went 7-6,
right? And
you lost the Tax Slayer Bowl to Tennessee. Didn't mean to bring up a bad memory there, but real quick, because we can talk about our teams all day. I just want to do real quick for the title game. Washington is 4.5-point underdogs at Michigan. Over under 55.5. You guys got any official predictions on who you think's going to win or by how much?
Huskies.
by
Washington Huskies by a touchdown, maybe 10 points.
Now, I do think we got this one right. I think we have the two best teams playing for the national championship right now. I do like, well, the two best teams that played in the semifinals. Now, one could argue that Georgia should have been in there, but I do like this matchup better than having, like, say, Washington and Bama or Michigan, Texas. I do like this matchup. I think it's more intriguing. It's not, oh, Alabama's in it again, Georgia's in it again.
Yeah.
SEC's in it again. I do like this. I want Washington to win this.
Let's be real honest. We're all happy because there's no SEC in it.
Yeah.
Let's just admit it right now. It's because
There
the
you go.
North is represented here.
There you go.
And we finally don't have to hear some slack-jawed Mississippi State fan claim their national title through Alabama, or Texas A&M saying how good they are because they lost to a team that lost to the team that won the title. Like,
Right.
we finally now, David and Joey, now you guys can be the ones that say that we lost the national champions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have won the Big Ten. That's the type of shit that A&M and Mississippi State fans do.
Exactly. You don't have random SEC. Let's say Texas A&M. SEC wins another national champion. It's like, dude, you're not even a fan of that team.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer when you asked who's going to win the Big Ten. That's all.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, Joey. The
Current
Big Ten does.
Big Ten or future Big Ten?
Both.
Okay.
The regular season Pac-12's over. They're a Big Ten team.
Yeah.
So what happens
They're
with that
dead.
money now? Because the conference that team is in right now gets that money. The Big Ten don't for Washington for making the playoffs. The Pac-12 does. So does Oregon State and Washington State get to split all $7 million or whatever it is? Good for them. Good for them.
I don't know if the Big Ten's going to be able to survive without that $7 million next year.
Probably not. Their $30 million a year per team TV contract just isn't enough.
It's not when you have to buy out your coach for $24 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Or buy
whole
him out
year.
for hazing, or buy him out for sexual assault, or buy. We're just going down the fucking.
Mute Bryant.
Yeah.
No,
I'm going to say I think Washington wins just because I don't want to admit Michigan winning, because frankly I still think their wins get vacated in a couple of years once they can really dig in and prove it. I think Harbaugh's gone after this year, which is, you know, if there's one thing that I will give them compliments, because I just don't like to, is holy shit, what a change. It was weird as an Iowa State fan watching it, a coach changing his philosophy in the middle of the game, going, hey, I want to run the ball. Oh, the run's not there. I guess we're going to pass the ball. Hey, I want to do a three front. Oh, the three front's not working. Just changing it and being able to make it work mid-game.
Right. I believe I texted all you guys and said this is the best coach game I've ever seen between the two people.
Yes.
Yeah. That was in the group chat, and I would agree. That was just a fun game to watch and watch the coaches adapt as it's going.
Felt bad for the
Let's be real
center
honest.
of Alabama. Really felt bad for him.
All four teams, again, why they're at that level is you saw all four teams, shit that wasn't working, they're immediately scrapped. Let's make it work. They changed their philosophies to make it win, and we see with both of our teams. Hey, well, we're gonna run on first down. Iowa State, we're gonna establish the run. We've rushed for literally 0 yards this game. Iowa, the Deacon hasn't proven anything the first 3 quarters. Let's wait until 8 minutes left in the game to throw our back of it. Change up if it's not working. I don't get the stubbornness, man.
Right. Makes no sense.
So, I don't know. I'm still thinking about Washington and Penix with his beautiful long balls that he was throwing. I mean, I think it's going to be Penix wins that game because I think JJ still can. I just believe in Penix more than JJ McCarthy.
Well, like you had in the like your question, like in the agenda said, like how does a team win, or how does Michigan win, or how does Washington win? And I really think, from what I've seen of the games I have watched of Washington, if you give Phoenix enough time, that that I can't say his last name, but it's like Ulufashio or something like that. If you give him, or that Hampton guy,
Yep.
enough time to get open, if you get Phoenix enough time to get his receivers open, he is lights out and deadly accurate on a lot of his passes.
Yep. And you saw in the game against Texas that when he needs to be, he can be mobile too, which is great. He did it against Oregon as well in the Pac-12 championship game. Washington has to get their offense rolling, and Michigan has to control the clock. If they can control the clock, slow it down, play bully ball, I think Michigan has a really good shot at winning. But if Washington gets rolling, that game could get out of hand quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michigan, both sides of the ball, they can dominate. I was shocked at how much Washington was able to contain Sweat and their other. I'm missing the other defensive tackle for Texas, but I was surprised at how Washington did. I don't know if they have the horses up front to stop Michigan, because we've all seen now through the Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, now Alabama game. They're for real. The first 9 weeks, I thought they were like, okay, yeah, you're playing fucking nobodies, but 4 of the last 5 weeks have been against, double-digit win teams
with good defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, every single one of them, and they've taken it to them game after game after game. So, if Michigan rolls early, I think we're SOL. I think Washington's SOL, but
right.
So, anything else you guys want to chat about on at least the national championship here?
I'm excited that it's the last one of the 4-team playoffs. That's kind of fun and kind of cool to think about. It's going to be a hell of a game on Monday. I can't wait for it. I was going to touch on this when Trent was talking about South Dakota State. Why don't they just do like a big Saturday championship game? They could have the South Dakota State one at noon, and then the Power 5 game at night. Like, why don't they just do that? I've never understood why it's on Monday night.
I like it. Pulse of the Heartland, fixing the college football playoff again.
Right.
Do we want to do a college football or our national title preview 15 minutes before the game and then post it?
Yes.
You think that'll get a lot of traction like 2 years ago? That's what the dumbest thing we've ever done. Was like, this is the time, 15 minutes before. We're trying to watch the game ourselves. And let's do it 15 minutes before. Everyone will have time in these 15 minutes to listen to 15 minutes of a pod that I have to download, send out to them before the actual game. What a dumb idea that was, man.
I don't know. In the zone was pretty dumb.
I think we should do it. We'll be here Tuesday or Monday, whatever the fuck the game is.
Yeah. It'd even be better if we had a Tuesday preview.
Yep.
You brought up the 12-team playoff, and I think this year really worries people. But what do you guys feel about a team that, hey, Iowa was 10-3, but you lost to 3 good teams. Oregon was out. We have all these teams that have 11, 12, 10 wins, whatever it is, losing to tough competition. How do you feel that one of the spots is stolen by a G5 team like Liberty, who had the 133rd out of 133 teams ranked schedule, went undefeated, and then looked like they didn't belong versus Oregon?
They were up 6-3 at one point.
Then what happened?
They didn't score again. Just saying.
So, but I mean, again, I think it's fair that you got to give them a chance, but it's like, how many bad years were like 1 or 2 where it's within 30-point blowouts where they go? Do you think they look at changing that in the future if they don't compete like a Cincinnati did a couple years back, or Boise State or whoever?
Now, 45-6 in that game, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Before the game, I'm like, Oregon's going to win by 60.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably could have.
That was literally You thought what Georgia did to Florida State is what Oregon was going to do, huh?
Yep.
I 100% thought that, the Oregon head coaches would be like, oh, Georgia put up 60? Hold my beer. Coming at you.
Oh, by the way, biggest winner in that whole fucking take your ball, cry, and go home by Florida State. Big 12 doesn't own the biggest fucking bowl loss in history now.
Right.
That's the ACC, which is about to collapse on itself anyways. So.
Yep.
But no shit. Well,
yeah, one of these pods we should do a not so much a year in review, but like stories in review from this last season of what we're looking into for the next season coming up.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, because like you just brought up the ACC collapse. Like, what do we think is going to happen? That type of stuff. Stuff we didn't cover because there was games going on.
Yeah, like alignment rumors.
Yeah,
just general BS.
Yep.
I'll write it down in the old idea pad.
Yep.
I got a whole document over here. So, but alrighty. Well, let's wrap it up there. Unless you guys got anything football you want to chat about, I don't know if we'll legitimately do anything for the Natty. Probably at this point, just relax and then talk about how Washington or Michigan dominated. And
right.
You know what I just want it to be a good game. That's at the end of the day. As much as everyone was rah, Florida State got robbed, do all this. 2 good games later, we go, you know what? Actually, they got it right. Fucking down to the last play in both semifinals, and now this is 4 straight semifinals games that have been fantastic.
Yep.
That's all we want. No offense, we know the sport and where it used to be and where it's going and everything money now. It's like being the Big 12, I got no control over this. You guys, watching from Big 10, we got no control on any of this. If I'm going to have to suffer this anyways, I'm making good games.
Right.
I just don't want to see the 65-7 blowout.
Yep.
34-20, and everyone's going to be happy this year, even though it's a 2-score game, because it's like, at least it wasn't over by mid-second quarter,
Like every other bowl game. God damn. I know I didn't watch many games because I was busy for audit season, but every score I saw was just pathetic.
Yeah. I mean, I called it because Syracuse lost so many, but like Syracuse lost USF 45-0.
Right.
Oh shit! Actually, real quick, because I know you'll probably have a good take on it. What do you think of Missouri beating Ohio State 14-3?
That was
that was neat.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. I know everyone, like all my coworkers and stuff, because obviously I live here. They we're all super happy. How hot is Ryan Day's seat right now? You score 3 points in your Ohio State. What? It's not that you lost a bowl game. I get that, especially when you were down to your 4th string quarterback or whatever. But you score 3 points and you have Travion Henderson in your backfield. Like, that's not good.
I really think his seat is probably one of those that's so hot that this coming year is like your prove it year,
right,
for him.
Right.
Yes.
Like if he doesn't do what he's supposed to next year, I can see Ryan Day gone.
Mm-hmm. But he probably will be because he's going to lose to Iowa at the Horseshoe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 55
to
23 again.
If he loses to Iowa 7-3 in the Horseshoe, they will fire him before he's off the field.
Right. Oh yeah.
They won't accept that.
They'll Lane Kiffin him, but in the middle of the game.
Or that
they just walk
Herm Edwards or whatever.
Headset on.
Yeah. That's awesome. He just takes it off. All right, guys, bye.
Hell, I'm gonna take the $40 million I was owed and do whatever the fuck I want for the next few years.
Right.
See ya.
I had one more thing about the end of year recap with Iowa. I was thinking about this for a while, even before we had the podcast and before everything is do you think Brian's stipulation on his contract was like the dark, gloomy cloud over Iowa also outside of, or do you think, because I think it was for the beginning part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think those first few games, it was just tough to like get past. But I think what really, in the end, though, when you look at it, is there's no adaptability. There's no change. There's no it's my way or the highway type thing there. But those first few games, I was sitting there thinking, like, on the season, like the first 2 to 4 games, I feel like it was almost hanging over at first.
Well, it started the joke, and then the injuries were the punchline. They like all the injuries compiled and compounded, and they just made those stipulations for Brian harder and harder to achieve, and that made that cloud grow. So I don't think you're wrong. I think I hated the stipulation. I wish they would just got rid of him. I mean, I feel like the season would have felt better. But yeah, the reports coming out of spring training camp and everything about Cade being hurt, him getting hurt the second week for sure. Like, I don't know. It was a lot, but yeah, Brian's definitely got the ball rolling.
Well, and we said it all the season as well. It's like, yeah, it's funny that Iowa's not hitting 25 points a game, but you know who else didn't? Everyone else in the West and a lot of the teams in the East. And it's just like, you're not in a league where Big 12 10 years ago, where it was you have to average 35 points a game. You could win games 20 to 13 or 13-3 in this league on a regular basis. You don't have to, but again, with where you were last year, that was the only thing Barta, I think, could do. He's going, Kirk, you got me by the balls, and you can't let me fire your son, or whatever that whole arrangement was. I'm going to make a spectacle out of this whole thing, and we're going to, remember how loud we were yelling last year of like, we need points, we need an offense, and Barta goes, I have the answer because I'm his boss technically. Here's his contract, and a contract that we all knew since it was signed. The ink wasn't even dry, and we knew he wasn't getting 25 points a game.
Right.
No way.
Yeah.
Not even because of his ineptitude, but because the Big Ten does have good defenses on for most teams, I guess. So it's you all, just I think like Joy said, I think it started it.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious on the thoughts on that because I was thinking about it here probably since the bowl game. I was sitting there going, I feel like it was like a dark cloud that kind of grew, like you said, like with the injuries and all that, everything else that compounded and piled on. It just made it bigger and bigger.
Right.
But I just wanted to see your guys' take on it, just to see, because that was like, I felt I was on to something, but I wasn't sure what.
That was a great question. I like that one.
I agree. So, well, shit. Well, I didn't say anything else, Dave? Joy?
No, I'm good now.
Fuck the Ferraris. That's all I got.
So, well, do we want to be on another hour? Is that what I just heard?
No, I need to go to bed.
Appreciate everyone joining us. I would say we had quite a few guys live here. Appreciate you joining. Just make sure, like, subscribe, share with everyone. We do this most Wednesdays. We took a break during the holidays here, but just keep liking, and we'll keep doing it. So appreciate everyone joining.
Yep.
See ya.